Valley, and we're with Sean. So Sean, tell us a little bit about the winery.
Well, we're actually in Sonoma Valley, but we're Gundlach Bundschu, 155 years, 6 generations strong, makes us the oldest California family-owned winery.
Right.
And the beauty of this property is that we have 2 distinct terraces. Our lower terrace, as you can see down here, is where we're going to grow Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Gewürztraminer. Reason being, those are cool weather grapes, and we get a great marine influence from the north end of the San Francisco Bay. That's just 8 miles south of us. And we have a low-lying area in the western foothills that we refer to as the Petaluma Gap, and that's also going to draw wind and fog into our lower vineyard terrace here.
So these lower areas actually are influenced because the fog pulls in, it sits on top of the grapes, provides more moisture, less sunshine. So a Chardonnay grape would be more appropriate for that style of climate, right?
Absolutely.
But you have different climates here, so just not so far away back here.
Now back up on this hill we have Arrowhead Mountain, and our vineyard will stretch 1.5 miles around to the Napa Valley border.
Right.
Now we have a real nice southwest facing exposure, and our elevations are between 100 and 400 feet. So we have very steep soils, steep grades. We'll get small berries, great varietal characteristic, and low yields. Perfect for the Bordeaux varietals, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc.
Which is kind of interesting for this area of the valley, right? Because to get a Zinfandel grape near the coast or in a relatively cooler climate, that's unique.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And the thing, Jacob Gundlach, I think, 1858, was a genius in the fact that he knew that he had 2 separate distinct weather and soil types here.
Right.
So this lower property is perfect, as I mentioned, for the cooler weather varietals, and the warmer weather varietals are going to grow great up there, and they're just minutes apart.
And you know, with the sunshine and the angle of the sun beating on the side of a hill like that, angle of incidence, more direct sun, it heats things up. So you can have temperatures down below in, say, the 60s, right? And then further up the mountain, you could easily get up into the 70s or 80s.
Absolutely. In fact, we're on average between 8 and 10 degrees warmer up on our mountain property than we will be on our
down in the valley itself.
Yeah, exactly.
And you also said that depending on the day, the fog level rises, right? So some days it's a little higher, some days it's less, right? And that also impacts. How much does fog impact the actual grapes themselves? Because that has to add moisture to the vineyard, right?
What it will do is it will extend our growing season. Grapes like warm days and cool nights, and in order to get the nice acidity level that we have, you need a cooler weather climate. And I think that's what makes our wines so special, is that we do have the San Francisco Bay and the Pacific Ocean as our weather makers.
Totally. Yeah.
And that's, you know, every wine region has its weather maker.
Right.
You know, down in Monterey Bay, they have the Monterey Bay is as deep as the Grand Canyon, so the water is very cold. So the Santa Lucia Highlands that are just south of that are going to pick up all that marine influence and make for just a beautiful Chardonnay.
Your other point, though, was the Sonoma Valley versus the Napa Valley, and the difference between the two. Even though they are independent valleys, they still have similar climates and types, but they're still dramatically different.
Absolutely.
Based off of where you are within the actual valley itself.
Just go right over the hill, and you'll be another 10 to 12 degrees warmer, and you go up the valley another 15 degrees warmer.
Right.
So, in fact, on this property, our lower terrace is considered Sonoma Coast, our upper terrace is considered Sonoma Valley, and our borders are Carneros to the south and Napa to the east. So we actually have 2 different AVA, American viticulture areas within our single vineyard site.
Fantastic.
So.